You are listening to Unstoppable Actors, the essential podcast for ambitious, unknown actors with me, Louise, the artistic director of Standby Method Acting Studio. And for the last 13 years, I've been taking unknown actors with blank CVs all the way to Netflix dramas, Amazon Prime films, TV soaps, and stage plays around the world. And every week I'll be talking with you and sharing how you can become a paid working unstoppable actor, because you 1000% can. An acting career is doable. Are you ready to dive into the episode? Hey, welcome back to the podcast. I am so glad you've landed on this particular episode, because whether you are brand new to acting, you've been throwing yourself into this industry for years, or whether you're returning to acting after a break, today's episode is something from you. There is something everybody can take from it, because we're talking about a challenge that actors of all levels face, and it is very, very sneaky and also massively frustrating. And most actors don't even realise that they're doing it. So this episode is going to be a short, sharp episode, but I promise it is going to give you something powerful to think about and help you make your next performance your best performance yet. Now, before we jump in, I would absolutely love to personally invite you to something very, very special. This July, we are opening the doors to the War Project. This is our summer 10-week method acting module, and it is such a goodie. It is so loved by so many of our students who have done this module. It only comes around once every 4 years, so it won't be available again until 2030 after this summer. And what happens is, over the 10 weeks, you will step into the shoes of a real person from history. It is so exciting. You research them, you understand their world, you uncover what mattered to them, what frightened them, what motivated them, and ultimately what it felt like to live their life. And you are basically playing a code breaker for 10 weeks, and we immerse you fully in their world. Now, it's not just about creating a character, it is about experiencing what it feels like when a character becomes real. And that is the kind of work that stays with you long after the module ends, and it will completely change how you approach all your future characters after this module. So if that sounds exciting to you, you can go and find all of the details over at tinyurl.com/10-week method acting, or hit the link underneath where you've pressed play. Now, let's move on to this invisible habit that is stopping you from fully becoming the character. We can all agree that we all just want to do our best work, right? That's why you're here, isn't it? That's why you're listening. And it's why you spend hours reading scripts. It's why you are listening to this podcast. It's why you go to classes. It's why you read acting books and blogs. And it's why you keep showing up. And there's nothing in the world quite like the excitement of getting a new role, especially when it is a super juicy one. And I'm talking about the kind of role where you immediately start imagining yourself playing it. You start seeing the scenes in your head. You start hearing the character's voice. You start wondering what makes them tick. And it is so exciting. And sometimes it's even intoxicating. And then the rehearsals start. And all of a sudden, something feels off. And it is not because you haven't prepared, because actually you have. You have prepared loads. You've gone above and beyond. Your script looks like a rainbow. I know the type of script. There are notes in every margin. You've highlighted stage directions. You've analysed scenes. You've researched the character to death. You have thought deeply about their psychology. You've done absolutely everything that you can think of. No box has gone unticked. And yet, despite all of this, you are still not connecting. You are coming out of the scenes frustrated. You're giving yourself a hard time, and you are wondering why all of that preparation is not translating into the performance. Oh, man, it can get exhausting, can't it? And the most frustrating part of all of this is that you know you have done the work. You know the character. So why is it not feeling alive? Years ago, I came across a phrase that completely changed how I understood this problem. The actor's monitor. And at first I had no idea what it meant. And then eventually, after a bit of time, it clicked. And the actor's monitor basically means that we all have this internal monitor running in the background. It's essentially like a little commentator in our minds, constantly analysing every little thing that we're doing in scenes and rehearsals and performances. And it will question things, and it will say things like, am I believable? Did that line work? Was that emotional enough? Am I connected? Did I react correctly? What does the director think? What does my scene partner think? What do I think? Should I have done that differently? And most of the time, as you can hear, it's not exactly cheering us on. It's usually pointing out everything that's wrong. You might also know this as mental tension. So the actor's monitor and mental tension is exactly the same thing. Now, here's the important thing. This monitor isn't actually trying to hurt you. Despite what it sounds like, it is actually trying to help you. And it wants you to do well. It wants you to succeed. I know, sounds crazy, right? But the problem is that while you are busy monitoring yourself, you're no longer in the scene. You're no longer experiencing the scene. What you're doing instead is you are watching yourself perform the scene. And they are two very, very, very different things. So let's think about it. Imagine you are trying to have a conversation with a friend whilst simultaneously watching yourself from the outside and critiquing every single sentence in that conversation. You'd struggle to stay present, wouldn't you? Well, acting is no different. The more attention we give to monitoring ourselves and to that mental tension, the less attention, the less bandwidth we have available for the scene, which means the more anxious we become, which then creates more monitoring and more mental tension, which then creates more anxiety, and then more monitoring, and then more mental tension, and then more anxiety, and round and round and round and round and round and round we go like we're on a merry-go-round. And it is a vicious old cycle. So what do? Surprisingly, the answer isn't to try and shut the monitor up, which is what most people think, because that very rarely works. If you've ever tried forcing a thought out of your head, you will know exactly what happens. It comes back 10 times louder. So instead, what we do is we redirect our attention. And in method acting, we use something called objects of attention. And this idea is beautifully simple. And it is something that you can pick up right away. So rather than focusing on yourself, which is what the actor's monitor is doing, you focus on something outside of yourself. So let's say you're working with a scene partner. You've noticed that your actor's monitor is monitoring everything that you're doing, and then the mental tension is chipping in, going, was that emotional enough? Did I say that line right? Oh, did I miss a cue? Did I miss a line? And it's just going on and on and on. So what you do is you instead choose to look at your scene partner's eyes, not in a creepy, staring competition kind of way, because that's just going to put them off and put you off as well, but in a soft focus way. So we have a gentle curiosity. Within this gentle curiosity, we ask ourselves things such as, what stories are sitting behind those eyes? What are they feeling? What are they trying to hide? What are they not saying? What are their eyes saying that they are trying so hard to cover up? And all of a sudden, your attention has somewhere productive to go. Somewhere where you invite in inspiration, and then something amazing starts to happen, and your actor's monitor and the mental tension that follows it starts to quieten down. And that's not because you've fought with it. It's not because you've strangled it and gone, stop, you must not say these thoughts anymore. You must stop observing everything I'm doing. It's because you've given your brain a more interesting job and you've activated your imagination again. Because when you are in these thoughts and the actor's monitor is active, the science behind this, and you don't need to remember this at all, but just for those of you that are a bit geeky like me and like the science, your brain's gone into delta waves. It's gone into the analytical thinking brain, and that's no good for acting. And then when you redirect your awareness using objects of attention and you ask those sorts of questions, your brain waves slow down because you're more relaxed and you get into something called alpha waves. And that is where your imagination sits, in those alpha waves. And because you're now in those alpha waves and your imagination's being activated, the scene becomes so much more important than your performance. And that's the secret to it. And your scene partner becomes more important than your anxiety. And it's so wonderful when you experience this. And not only that, your curiosity becomes more important than your self-judgment. And that's the most important thing of it all. Because when that happens, when we start experiencing these three things instead, all of that preparation that you've done, all of that hard work that you've put in before this, it has room to breathe. And the character starts showing up. And it is not because you're forcing it. It's because you are getting out of your own way. Now, I want to be really clear with this, because I have to be realistic and tell you the truth. This takes practice. You are not going to listen to this one episode and then all of a sudden never ever monitor yourself again. I really wish it worked like that. It'd be so much easier for all of us, wouldn't it? You've got to think of it like training a cheeky puppy or a mischievous kitten. Every time it wanders off, you gently guide it back. No telling off, no frustration, just, oh, there you are again. Back to the scene. Come on. Back to my scene partner. Back to what I'm paying attention to. And as you repeat this over and over again, over time, that repetition becomes your friend because your focus becomes stronger and that monitor becomes quieter. And then the work becomes more enjoyable. And that is what it's all about, isn't it? So I've got a challenge for you, as always. The next time you are rehearsing a scene, I simply want you to notice when you start monitoring yourself. Do not judge it. Just notice it. And then choose one thing outside of yourself to focus on. So maybe it is going to be a scene partner's eyes. Maybe it's going to be their voice. Maybe it's an object in the room. Maybe it's what you think they're trying to achieve. And every single time you catch yourself monitoring, gently bring that attention back and let's see what changes. See what surprises you. Because this is exciting. Now you are back in control creatively. And if you'd like to experience this work in a deeper way and you want to take what I teach you in the podcast further, then applications for the War Project are now open. You have got 10 weeks to learn techniques just like this whilst building and ultimately living as a real person from history. And it is so exciting. One of our current students recently said about the character preparation process, because you get an actor's journal within the 10 weeks as well. And I don't often really talk about that actually, but anyway, you get this actor's journal and you get to keep it for life and you can use it for every single character you ever play after the module. Yesa said, I really liked page 8 and 9 in the actor's journal. Yes, they are very time consuming, but they did make me think deeper about every line and what it says about your character. I also really resonated with page 6. I found out that I have more similarities with Helen, which is the character she's playing at the minute, than I thought. This page also makes you think deeply about the character because you try to find as many similarities as you can, but also the differences. It makes you deep dive into the character and be a detective, but also connect with yourself. Does this feel familiar in my own world? I think page 6 was really eye-opening. It made me connect with myself and the character, but I couldn't do the page as well without doing page 8 and 6 beforehand. So Yessa is already experiencing much deeper character connections than she did before she trained on the 10-week method acting module, and this is her first module with us. So if you would really love to experience that kind of transformation in your own acting, just go to tinyurl.com/10-week method acting and you can find out more there and also submit an application as well. Thank you so much for listening. Enjoy the rest of your day and enjoy experimenting with your focus, and I'll see you in the next episode.
I've absolutely loved hanging out with you, and I really hope you found this episode inspiring. If you have, please do rate the podcast and hit follow so you never miss an episode and I can help more actors like you. And come and join one of the most supportive, uplifting acting communities on socials, the Unstoppable Actors Facebook group, where you'll get your weekly injection of inspiration, networking, and receive your free Method Actors handbook so you can become an unstoppable actor.